Let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
You can't spend a lot of time on the phone, so give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now are.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting, hit-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. I am back once again with a very special show today. This show is going to be based on the memory of our friend and Coast to Coast AM starter, Art Bell. All right. Now, what you just heard was one of his interviews of a young man who is just known as the frantic Area 51 caller. Now, as you just heard about what he was talking about. But here's the strange part about that entire broadcast. Now, what I haven't showed you was, well, first of all, what I haven't showed you was 3 years later. This was in 1993. This same guy calls back after all these years. And he is basically telling him that it was just a hoax, but it was a very lively hoax because he loved the show. That's what he did. That's why he did it, because he loves the show. He loves his, all the people that he interviews and all that stuff, his topics and everything. So he figured he'd give him a, little show or whatever. Okay. Now, here's the part that gets me. If this was a hoax and he thought of this whole thing, why was the feed cut? I mean, he said the entire feed, everything went down. Okay, they couldn't get nothing. They had to bring everything back up with a backup generator. That is just how much was lost that day. Okay, so once again, if all this was a hoax, why would the whole entire system crash? It's almost as if the government was watching or listening the entire time. Just that whole NSA thing where they be listening in on your devices and all that stuff. Pretty much the same thing, even in radio signals. They could probably patch themselves into it and listen to everything that everybody is saying about the government, especially when it comes to all the conspiracy stuff. And when they got to a point where they started hearing stuff that they already knew about that was true, that's when they stepped in and cut the feed, because he started talking about, he called them something else, but they're interdimensional beings. And he started talking about all kinds of stuff like, there's going to be destruction and they want to wipe out the human race and all this stuff. Now, from what I've told you before, that most of these interdimensional beings, the ones they call the Greys, but I call them the Dark Ones, they don't like humans. I've heard stories of them devouring humans. I'm talking actually eating like a feast. So this would basically be a feasting ground for these interdimensional beings that like to eat human bodies or human people. Like they dining on a steak or something. But that particular broadcast really got me, because it was like it didn't freak me out, but it had me alarmed. I was like, wow, okay. When you hear stuff like that and it sounds credible, and the person that is talking about it sounds very serious, you tend to believe what they're saying, because I can guarantee you, I believe them. But see, the thing is, I didn't see that video until years later. We're talking about 1993 when he called back. This is like 2000 and something, okay? When I first heard this was probably maybe 2010 at the time, when I heard the broadcast, the first one, and then they played a second one, which was him calling back to Coast AM when Art Bell was still doing his radio show. And this was way before he took his little couple of years off sabbatical. I think it was like a total of like 2 to 4 years. It was something dealing with his son. His son was either killed, murdered, or he just died. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what. Because that interview, I'm not going to say it's lost, but he didn't do a lot of interviews. He only did that one about, why he took so much time off. I think he was talking to George Norrie. I think. If not George Norrie, he might have been talking to Larry King. I'm not sure. Because he did do an interview with Larry King, but I don't know if he mentioned that part. It depends on when it actually happened. So to actually, hear this and know why, because I wanted to know, because before he actually stopped doing radio, I was actually listening to him when he was still on AM radio. I forgot the actual radio station. But he was still doing radio at the time. But, we're talking about AM, so I could barely pick it up. I would have to stream it, but I didn't know anything about streaming at that time. This was like maybe, I'd say, late 90s, early 2000s. So when I heard that, and I was like, okay, I listened to a couple of his radio shows, even though all I was hearing, I could hear a lot of static in the background, because like I said, it's AM. That's how AM always been. So I used to listen to him, and then after a while, I kind of stopped because I got tired of trying to listen through all that static, and I stopped listening for a couple of years. And then a couple of friends of mine, like this one person who was a huge conspiracy, nut, he told me about Coast to Coast AM at the time, and I actually started getting back into it. And by that time, George Norrie was actually the host of Coast to Coast AM, because this was around the time when. So this is around the time or after he took his little sabbatical after his son was killed. Now, if I hear that interview again, I'll mention it on another video. As far as what really happened to him, around that time when he took that couple of year long sabbatical. I know for a fact that his son had died. I can't remember if it was murder. He was killed in a car crash, or if he was just died, of natural causes, or maybe he was sick. I don't think it was sick. I think it was something kind of drastic. It was either he was killed or he was murdered. I'm not sure. But you hear about all these stories about these ufologists, doing their thing and making things known that they don't want us to know. And all of a sudden, they end up dead in some crazy way. Like, one guy I heard about. I can't remember his name. He was kind of overweight, had blonde hair or white hair. He had a teenage daughter and a teenage son. They said when they found his body, they also found the body of his 2 kids with holes in their heads, bullet holes. So whoever these people were, obviously they were the government, they put a bullet in his head and his kids so they wouldn't talk. Because, they were teenagers. Teenagers, they talk. Everybody knows that. We were teenagers. We talked. So... I would imagine that's why they did it. But still, they would, like little kids, like 5 or 6. That I don't know if they could go to sleep at night knowing that they did that, even if they are the government. But that's what happened. They killed him and his 2 kids. So I was like, wow, I did not know they would go to that extreme. They threaten people who start putting that information out there, saying that they will take him, and they'll take him out into the desert where they'll never find him and kill him, or they will threaten their family or something like that. And sometimes I think that they are really serious about that. They will definitely kill your family, but they'll make it look like an accident or something else happened that didn't connect the killing back to the government. That's what they do. But anyway. Okay. But yeah, so that was a pretty famous broadcast that he did, or interview that he did of that guy. And there was another one about a man who was flying over Area 51. He wanted to see what was really going on out there, so he built his own plane and flew out there. His girlfriend called the show saying that he's on the line trying to get you, but you just need to pick up. And he was actually in his plane on his way to Area 51 at the time. So she sent him a fax talking about that was his girlfriend. I think her name was Jan, and she said that my boyfriend is trying to call you on the I think what they call that. Forgot what they call those calls they have on Fridays. I think it's I can't remember. But anyway, but yeah, so she told him that he was trying to call him. So he, answered the phone, and it was him. You could actually hear him inside the plane. You could hear the sound of the motor and the propellers and all that stuff. And he was just telling him all about the reason why he was trying to fly out there. That, that we pay taxes and we deserve to know what's going on out there. Da da da, blah 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 blah. And Art Bell is trying his best to let him know that if you keep going, you're going to get shot down. AKA, you're going to be dead, dude. Okay? And he kind of, I don't know if anybody ever watched this cartoon, but it was Bobby's World, and they had his mom. She would always say, she would say a sentence, and she would say, don't you know? And that's how he talked. He always said, don't you know? He said, yeah, let's put this thing right down here. Yeah, let's do that. Don't you know? It was kind of funny. I mean, I don't mean to laugh because the man is dead. He got shot down by the government. I mean, he could be alive. I don't know. Maybe he's in some sort of government prison because he was flying over a restricted area. Hopefully, But all I know is that the man was shot down. And the crazy part about it was you heard everything that was going on the other end of that phone. You could hear him saying that, some thing opened up on the ground down there. And it's like there's a barrel coming out. All of a sudden, you hear a distant pop, and then all of a sudden, you hear something. You hear like another pop, like something hit the plane. And he was like, "Oh, they're shooting at me now." And he's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm going in." And then he hangs up the phone. Now, possibly he hit the ground, which could be the reason why the phone line went dead. Maybe, because I'm not gonna say that I know that if you on the phone with somebody and the plane hits the ground, you're going to start hearing a lot of crashing noises and people screaming and stuff like that. I'm not saying that I know this, but maybe he did hit the ground and the phone line just went completely dead because the phone probably got destroyed instantly. I don't know. But that's what happened. The phone line went dead and that was it. But he was trying to tell him, do not do this, turn around right now because you will get shot down. He was met by 2 F-16 fighter pilots. Okay? They were trying to flag him down, telling him he needs to land right now. But he was acting like he didn't have no radio. He was like, can't hear you. No radio. And you could hear them take off. You be like, like, wow, this is actually happening. I'm like, wow, this is some great stuff. And that's what really got me into Art Bell's show, Coast to Coast AM. But like I said, a lot of times, when I heard that, when I was listening to it on YouTube, but when I was listening to his actual show, it was on AM, and that was kind of getting on it. I think it was AM 590. I think that's what it was. Yeah. And like I said, I got tired of hearing all the static in the background. It was kind of hard to hear. You had to sit there and try to listen real hard to see if he's going to say something. And I was like, you know what? And then when the streaming came out on the iPhone, I hooked up that app. It was TuneIn Radio, and I've been listening to it ever since until I realized that all of the shows that they have with these experts on ghosts and aliens and people who have actually talked to aliens or been in government facilities where the aliens walk around like as if they live there, which they probably do, most of them. But Area 51 is more like a meeting place for them, when it comes to the government people. But anyway. So when I realized that I was not going to get the answers I was looking for on that radio show, I just stopped listening to it because I started getting into meditating, and I do very extreme meditating where I can end up, bringing myself to a higher consciousness, where I end up learning a lot of stuff. stuff that people are not ready to hear because they've never been told this, they've never learned about it, they've never been taught any of the things that I can tell you. So there's pieces that I can give to you in my show about the truth, and I have done that in the past, you know, even with my live shows. So, and I can guarantee you this little beauty right here is going to get me some good views with the live show because I can, you know, I can talk on a broader scale. You know, it's more clearer, it's sharper. You know, I can actually hear everything in my house right now. It's weird. You know, I can hear what's going on upstairs, whatever, you know, but I can even hear the TV on upstairs. It's crazy. That's just how powerful this thing is. And these headphones, I see they're Bose, so you know I got the good stuff. Anyway, okay, so that was basically my tribute to Art Bell. All right, now I'm gonna do another part of this video about a young man. This is a promise that I made to one of my viewers who sent me some information on a young man named Jabez Spann. And he turned up missing, but he was found dead shortly after. Now, I'm going to go into that right now. Just give me a second here. Get on the page. All right. Now, oh, sorry about that. That was my phone. I put it down on the table. But anyway, I told you, here's everything. So I got to be careful. I can't even rub on my leg because you'll be hearing my pants. Okay, anyway. Now this is a cold case. A cold case expert digs into a Sarasota missing teen case. Now this one, like I said, is about a young black teen named Jabez Spann. Now the story about the missing Sarasota teen Jabez Spann was featured on Nancy Grace's Crime Online. Okay, so you know it got some big news if it was on there. Now a national crime fighting publication has taken up the case of missing Sarasota teen Jabez Spann. Crime Online published a story Thursday about a 15-year-old written by Atlanta Cold Case Research Institute director Cheryl McCollum. But anyway, now this woman, she interviewed the family and a private, excuse me, I'm trying not to burp because I don't want to do that while I'm on the mic. Be trying to get all this stuff done before I get on, but it always happens. You know, when you be breathing, you be talking a lot. Sometimes you create air pockets in your throat, and you gotta, you know, let some stuff out. But anyway, let's see. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. I almost lost my place. Okay, here we go. Okay, now, like I said, she interviewed the family and a private detective who has volunteered his time, you know, to investigate the case. The online publication describes itself as a crime reporting, crime fighting outlet that arms its audience with information they need to know. Now, to also fight back against wrongdoing. It is staffed by legal and criminal experts who offer perspectives on cybercrime, addiction, forensic pathology, and crime scene investigation. Now they have a section solely dedicated to cold cases, you know, like that TV show Cold Case that they, you know, brought down. I guess they ran out of ideas. But anyway, now Spann was last seen September 4th walking on 22nd Street, while the Sarasota Police Department said it has received about 5 tips since the reward for information on the whereabouts of Spann was raised to about $50,000. They are not calling the investigation a cold case. Now, McCollum interviewed Spann's mother, Tawana Spann, and private detective Joseph Randall about the case and its ties to the murder of 31-year-old Travis Combs. The story portrays a missing teen's mother as a hardened, streetwise woman who is honest about her life and the time she spent manufacturing drugs. Wow. Okay. Now, Joseph Randall, a local private investigator who is working on Spann's case pro bono, tells McCollum no child has ever gone missing from Sarasota. Never. This won't happen on my watch. Randall talked about the street code of silence in in Newtown, which he said, excuse me, which he said was misguided. He said there is a twisted sense of right. Okay. Now, I believe if someone is making a living and you leave them alone, fine, Randall told McCollum. Sell a little weed or fence a TV. But when a 15-year-old child is harmed, all bets are off. And yeah, I feel the same way, because you can do all you got to do, but when you harm a child, a 15-year-old for that matter, whose life is just really starting, and you take his life from him for whatever the reason, yeah, that's unacceptable. I can't agree with that either. Okay, now because like I said, I'm a father, so yeah, I don't ever want to think that ever. My daughter just turned 17, so I'm right up there with the family right at this point. Now the story is available at crimeonline.com. Anyone with information about the case is asked to call Sarasota Crime Stoppers at 941-366-TIPS. That's 8477. Or online at SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. They may remain anonymous. Now it was said that they did find his body, but there wasn't too much information on that. I'd have to look into it some more, and I'll probably do an update on a later video, maybe the next one. I was gonna do two parts. Like I was gonna do I was gonna actually do the tribute to Art Bell first, and then do a video on this young man here. But I figured, why not just combine the two, into one video? That way you won't have to worry about, you get both the information at the same time. So this is for the viewer that they hit me up in the comment section about this young man. So this video is for you. As you see, I kept my promise. Now, like I said, if there's any more information on this young man, I would definitely do an update. Because this is an old story. Yeah, when she told me about it, I looked it up, but I didn't have a lot of time because like I said, my job had me working a lot of crazy hours, and I have to be to work at a certain time. I didn't have a lot of time to look it up. Even on my day off, you got family, I got my daughter, so we all be doing stuff. So that kind of ruins what I be trying to do for my channel sometimes. But I try to make sure I make up for it with the videos that I come out with, whether it's strange or just straight up logical, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so I will read more into it, because I do know that I did read that they found his remains, or his body, So when I read more about that, I'll post that on another video that I do. I don't know which one I don't know who I'm gonna talk about, So I will let you guys know, so you don't have to worry about it. But you know how I do, I always come back with some good stuff. I try my best and everything. So I'm really hoping that this mic is working for you guys, because I know my voice had to be listened to through the speakers in my laptop, and I was kind of getting tired of that myself. So now I got this bad boy right here, and it sounds great through my earphones. I can hear everything, but my voice sounds so clear. I hope there isn't any static, because one of my viewers said there was a little static in the background. So I tried to turn it down as much as I could, so my voice will still sound clear and loud, but it won't sound too loud. So if there was any static, you guys, be sure to let me know, and I will adjust it accordingly each video to make sure, because I can't hear the static right now. Even though I can hear everything around me, I can hear my voice as well, but I don't hear any static. It may be because I may be too close to the microphone like this, or I'm too far away maybe, and there's a lot of interference coming through between me and the microphone, like electrostatic, particles in the air, or whatever you want to call it. It may be interfering with the sound of my voice, probably, which is where the static probably comes from. But anyway, that's just a little thought off the top of my head. You gotta do a little something. But anyway, but guys, yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. I may do some more later on tonight, or maybe do another one tomorrow. Like I said, I'm having fun now because I got all this stuff. I got my printer, and I'm printed up the pages of my novel. And I'm gonna tell you the name of the novel. It's called Afraid to Be Me. Okay, this is I'll give you a little history on the book. The book is about two best friends who found their way to each other, as they got older. It starts out with a young teen female who is having these feelings that she can't describe or explain. She was raised to say that, okay, boys are supposed to be with girls and girls are supposed to be with boys, right? But she started having feelings for other girls. And as she got older, other women. But she didn't know how to handle it. So she went throughout life growing up, trying to cope with these feelings, but at the same time, her mind is being flooded with all the stuff that her parents taught her about, what God doesn't like or what He does like. So if you're saying that you got feelings for a female, they're gonna be like, well, God don't like it. That's a sin. This and that, the other. You know how parents do. They still do it to this day. Some parents can't accept their child coming out to them. So she had to go through all of this. Okay. So she had this best friend that she met in high school, all because she couldn't get her locker open, right? So she saves, she saves her from this little problem that she had. She opens up her locker like that. She's like, okay, but anyway. So after that, they became like the best of friends. They did everything together. They hung out together. They talked on the phone for hours on hand. They slept over each other's houses and stuff like that. They're like teenage girls. But things started to kind of get a little heavy, a little heated in certain areas where they actually had their first kiss. And I'm talking not a peck on the cheek or they were kissing pillows like most girls did back in the early days when we were kids, like, the 80s or something like that. They literally kissed. And it wasn't one of them little, like I said, pecks. It was a kiss. Okay? But that was the only time they actually got that close because they were best friends. They always wanted to know what it was like to kiss each other. So they said, I kiss a pillow, we can kiss each other. We best friends. We, that's how it went down. But anyway, time goes on. They got, they became lawyers. They went to law school together and they eat together, at lunch or when they would get off. Like say if they win a case, they go to their favorite restaurant and they just have fun. They catch up on things. They do what best friends do. They hang out. They they just hang out in a grown up way. But she knows that her best friend likes women and she's dated women, has sex with women. So she's having these feelings. So she felt like she's the one that she could come to because she's her best friend. So she did. So she takes her on this little trial basis like journey. Okay, she's teaching her the ropes. She's bringing her into her world. The LGBT, the Rainbow Coalition, what they call it. So she starts learning things, and she had her very first time with her best friend, which was incredible, by the way, and it's very detailed. So you're gonna love it if you guys order it, or whatever. It will be a specially signed book by me, yours truly. Insane Disappearances, but not as Insane Disappearances, of course. But anyway, so they had their first time together, and she experienced something that she never experienced before, but she knows that she wants more. Okay, then somewhere down the line, feelings start to just kind of flow in like a wave, like waves crashing into the shore. It's coming in hard and just spreads everywhere. And she's like, what? I'm having feelings for my best friend. That's wrong. I can't do this. But she can't help it. She made her have an experience that she's never had before. Okay? We're talking about sex here. It happens. Okay? People always talk about that. A girl's first time with a female. Sometimes be their best friend. Sometimes be just a complete stranger she met at the club. Next thing you know, oh wow, I gotta have that feeling again. Wow. So that's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much what happened. So that's just a little taste about what, the movie is about. I mean, the movie, but the book. I'm sorry, the book is about. But I'm gonna give you guys a little treat. Okay, I'm gonna read to you the prologue, and I want you to listen. I want you to be like, wow, okay. Now this begins her journey. This is telling you exactly how she's been feeling. Okay. Now, just bear with me. Okay. Turn it. Make sure I'm being good. All right. Now, the name of the prologue is A Reflection of Truth. It's a night like any other night. It was fall. Our bedroom pitch black with cascading shimmers of harvesting moonlight that beamed through the windows. While I lay next to my husband fast asleep, I once again had the same reoccurring dream that I've been having for a year now. It always starts out the same way. I'm in our master bedroom, prettying myself up for work, and then, out of the blue, my husband enters from behind, wraps his strong arms around my waist, pressing into me, everything from his upper torso to his lengthy, thick, hard, you know what, whatever, penis. Anyway, I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, but I'm saying it. Freedom of speech, man. Anyway, okay. All right. Now it says, okay, my ass pressed into his pipe. His upper front blanketed me from my back to my split. He then kisses my neck, loving the feel of his touch. I lean my head back. A soft moan escapes my lips. When I open my eyes, I look into the mirror and lay witness to an unidentified woman in his place doing the exact same thing he was doing. The weirdest part about it is that every single time I have this dream, I never see her face. She is always faceless or shrouded by a blur, and just like that, I wake up gasping for breath, sweating, and moist in my center as my inner being calms from a rush-pounding beat. I've asked myself so many different questions after each time, like, why am I having dreams of a strange woman I've never met before? Why was she faceless? Why did she take the place of my husband in my dream? Why was I still feeling what I felt when she kissed me in the same exact place where my husband kissed me? Why does the thought of this woman make me wet every time she enters my mind? Is this dream trying to tell me something? Does this mean I'm not sexually attracted to my husband anymore? Only time will tell. I hope that was an earful for you guys, and I'm sorry if that was a little too loud, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that little scene that I created for my book. That was the prologue. So when you read that, you're going to want to read even more. So when it gets published, you know where to find me, and I can tell you how to get it. You're going to love it. I'm telling you. Oh, man, I tell you, I'm loving this, man. I'm just having so much fun. I'm having fun with you guys, with my YouTube channel, my book. I got another one coming out, which is a military sci-fi book. I can't tell you what that's about, let alone the name yet, because I haven't even really got it. I've started it, but I got a long way to go. And I'm even thinking about a sequel to this book right here, Afraid to Be Me. So, guys, once again, it is that time. I got to get out of here because I bought me Justice League, the Blu-ray DVD. So I'm watching it right now. Well, I'll be watching it fully after this is over. So, guys, I got to go. I really hate to leave, but you know, it got to end at some point, right? I would love to do like a live show, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, you know how I do that in every video, all right? You know how I do it. Aloha, mahalo, and ahuiho. Peace out, brother, and wahine.